Okay, number 1 on the study guide. Angle P in triangle PQR has the same measure as angle S in triangle STU. Which other condition is necessary to prove that these triangles are similar? So this is a review from the last unit. I'm going to draw two triangles, PQR and STU, and it says that angle P here is the same measure as angle S. So which other condition is necessary to prove that these triangles are similar? So side PQ, this side, is twice the measure of side ST. So say this is 10 and this is 5. Side PQ has the same measure as ST. Well, if they were the same, that means they would be congruent triangles. So that wouldn't mean that they're similar. Angle P has the same measure as angle R. P and R have the same measure? Well, they're in the same triangle, so that doesn't have anything to do with two triangles being similar. And angle Q has the same measure as angle T. So if Q and T have the same measure, yes, that would mean that these angles have to be similar, because if these are the same, that means that these two angles also would be the same. So remember, similar triangles, the angle measures are the same, the side lengths are proportional. So A, yes, the side lengths would be proportional, but that doesn't give us quite enough information. We need to know that all of the angles are the same measure. Number 2, the rectangular glass window is divided into two equivalent right triangles by a diagonal brace. What is the length of the diagonal brace? So we're trying to find the length of this line. It's a rectangle, so I know this is a right angle. I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem. Across from the right angle is C, so I don't know C. I have 12 squared plus 9 squared. 144 plus 81 is equal to C squared. Let's see here. Oh, my calculator died. All right, 144 squared plus 81 squared is 27,297 is equal to C squared. Now I need to take the square root of both sides, and I get 165.21. Looking at my answer choices, that can't be right. I typed into my calculator 144 squared plus 81 squared, when really I should have just done 144 plus 81. So 144 plus 81 is equal to 225 is equal to C squared, which means that C is equal to 15. All right, number 3, the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle. I'm going to draw a right triangle. Is 2 feet. The length of one of the legs is 1.2 feet. What is the other leg? So I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem again. I don't know one of my legs. I know the other one is 1.2 and the hypotenuse is 2. So x squared plus 1.44 is equal to 4. If I subtract 1.44 from both sides, x squared is equal to 2.56. So I need to take the square root of both sides. X is equal to 1.6. Looks like that's answer choice B. All right. Number 4, what would X be in meters? Again, Pythagorean theorem. Most important side is C. It's across from the right angle, so I know C is going to be 25 squared. Doesn't matter the order for A and B. X squared plus 400 is equal to 625. Subtract 400 from both sides. X squared is equal to 225. Square root of both sides. X is equal to 15. The length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle is 14.5 meters. The length of one of the legs is 8.7. What's the length of the other leg? Again, Pythagorean theorem. I know one of the legs is 8.7, and I know that the hypotenuse is 14.5. So I get a squared plus 75.69 is equal to 210. Subtract 75. A squared is equal to 134.56. Square root of both sides. And I get 11.6. All right, I have a kite. Ooh. And it says that AB, and AD are 10, CD and CB are 17, DB is 16 inches, so that length here is 16. What's the length of AC? So I want to look for a right triangle here. It looks like here's a right triangle, right? And then here's a right triangle. So if I can find the length of this side and I can find the length of this side, add them together, and I'll get the whole length. So let's start with this right triangle up here. If the whole thing is 16, then I think half would be 8, right? So I have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C across from the right angle is going to be 10. One side is going to be 8. So a squared plus 64 is equal to 100, right? Subtract 64 from both sides. A squared is equal to 36. Take the square root. A is equal to 6. So I would say this side here is 6, right? So then I have 8 and 17 and x. So again, a squared plus 17 is going to be c. 8 squared equals 17 squared. So a squared plus 64 is equal to, oop, I'm off the screen, sorry, 289. Subtract 64 from both sides. A squared is equal to 225, which means A is equal to 15. So this is 15. So then 15 plus 6 is 21 inches. Next one, the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle is 8 centimeters. The length of one of its legs is 6. What is the approximate area of the right triangle? So first thing I need to do is find the height of the triangle. So a squared plus 6 squared equals 8 squared. I know 8 is c because it's across from the right angle. A squared plus 36 plus 64 equals 64. Subtract 36 from both sides. A squared is equal to 64 minus 36, which is 28. When I take the square root, a is equal to, I'm going to round to the nearest tenth. So square root of 28 would be 2.3. So this is about 2.3. Now it says the area of the triangle. Remember, a triangle is half of a rectangle, right? A rectangle's area is length times width. Triangle is half of that. So 1/2 of the length times the width. So area is equal to 1/2. The length is 6. The width is 2.3. If I multiply all those together, 0.5 times 6 times 2.3, I get about 6.9. All right, so I found the issue. Square root of 28 is really 5.3. I don't know why I wrote 2.3, which means when I'm multiplying this area, I'm multiplying by 5.3. So 1/2 times 6 times 5.3 gives me 15.9, which is about 16 since it says approximate. All right, what side, what's the unlabeled side? So again, a squared plus 10 squared equals 12 squared. A squared plus 100 is equal to 144. A squared is equal to 44. Square root of both sides. A is equal to square root of 44 is 6.6. Oh, which they just have square root of 44. Need to find this side again. So 9 squared plus x squared equals 17 squared. 81 plus x squared is 17 squared. Oh, what is 17 squared though? 289. Subtract 81 from both sides. X squared is equal to 208. Take the square root of 208. And x is equal to 14.4, which is about 14b. Last ones. Oh, no, wait, I think. These are similar right triangles. What is the measurement closest to the length of the hypotenuse? So I need to figure out the hypotenuse of this one. So 10.5 squared plus 8 squared equals x squared. 110.25 plus 64 is equal to x squared. Add 64 to that, I get 174.25 is equal to x squared. Square root of both sides. And I get 13.2 is equal to x. So this is 13.2, but I need to figure out how are these similar. So 25 over 10.5, right, because these two correspond, is equal to, I don't know what this side is, over 13.2. So if I cross multiply, 10.5x is equal to 25 times 13.5, 337.5. By both sides by 10.5, x is equal to 32.14, sorry, is what I got, which looks like C. So Kyle has a baseball game. He drives 6 miles west from home to school. So this is 6 miles. And then he drives 5 miles north to the baseball field. So that's 5. And we want to know, how does he get home, basically. So I have this triangle, 6, 5, and x. So Pythagorean theorem, 5 squared plus 6 squared is x squared. 25 plus 36 is x squared. 25 plus 36 is 61. Square root of 61. And I get 7.8, which is D. Last two. I want to find the distance between these points. So I'm going to draw a right triangle. Count this distance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 squared plus 8 squared equals C squared. Square root of 1. I'm going to do this quick because I'm running out of time. It's about 12.8, which is C. Last one again, draw a right triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 9 squared plus 6 squared equals C squared. 81 plus 36